Yep. Hello, thank you for all gathering today. As I'm addressing all of you, the executives of the Board of NV Energy for the Department of Nevada, and I would like to talk today about our current goals to become carbon neutral in the recent future. And I want to say that nuclear power is a superior alternative to gaining this goal than that of fossil fuels. Because as you're all aware of, the world is going through a transformation. In order for us to preserve humanity, we are currently not on a very strong model, and the research has shown this, as seen from the Research Institute of Mauna Loa, from carbon dioxide peaks near 420 parts per million at Mauna Loa Observatory as of June 2021. We have reached a 58-year high that has been unprecedented in its entire year of operation, which is directly, and all of this is directly correlated with increased natural disasters, along with just overall climate catastrophe, as we have seen greater increases of drought, hurricanes, and tornadoes, and not just America alone. Therefore, nuclear power, as it currently stands, is the best viable option that we have in terms of the output, as seen by, yes, the reliability, it's the public health sector, along with in overall climate change and overall improvement. That is why first I will discuss the problems with fossil fuels, effect on public health, the environment, and fluctuant prices. Second, I'll talk about how nuclear power works and how it's better than this whole situation that we're currently in right now. And then I will also talk about two different worlds that we all should consider when we're looking at all of these things. So, the current problem that we're having with fossil fuels right now is that we have really bad public health issues. Yes, coal was able to bring the entire world out from underneath the ashes of what it once was to build the entire modern world that we currently see. But the problem with this is that we have seen lots and lots of bad health issues. Study in Poland by Persuasive 2019, Governing Energy While Neglecting Health, showed that populations that were susceptible to respiratory illness have reduced development in younger years, and then just overall decrease in long-term function as a whole. Along with when a lot of the coal is burned, there are chemicals such as sulfur dioxide and nitrogen dioxide, and sulfur dioxide is correlated with the corrosion in the lungs that begins to start to eat away at the lung matter, along with how the nitrogen dioxide has a long history of causing asthma and bronchitis. And not to mention that these chemicals are really bad for the environment too. We have the study will go further into reports on the destruction of estuaries, streams, and overall soil in the ground that would stop the expansion of forests in the local areas, along with acid rain. That was not good. Then, and not to mention too, according to Stubb 2019, natural gas industry, the entire industry is plagued by many natural price fluctuations, just because as seen from the situation with OPEC in the 1970s, gas prices reached an all-time high, and we truly did consider nuclear cars. However, aside from the point, the 2020-2021 shortages, as seen from the east coast of America, with a Russian hacker group able to hold for ransom this entire pipeline, brought many people onto the more pressing concern, as Mossman renewable energy debate in 2019 further highlighted. That is why nuclear energy is the best viable option for the alternative of fossil fuels. And nuclear is far more basic than most people think. It's just taking the large atoms of uranium and then splitting these. And the current technology is allowing for us to be able to use this technology to reuse the nuclear waste matter, which is the more advanced plutonium aspect. This technology is completely carbon neutral. There's no carbon dioxide nor particles that are produced when energy is made. As seen from Pearson 2021, public health effects of airborne radioactive effluents from nuclear and coal-fired power plants in local areas of coal power plants, they were seeing higher radiation levels of the populace living around these areas in comparison to around nuclear power plants, which is the opposite of what one may think. Along with nuclear energy is more reliable than solar and wind, because you see, the sun won't always be shining, the wind won't always be blowing, and that is one of the reasons of how nuclear is able to maintain itself, as seen from land needs for wind, solar, dwarf nuclear, with the fact that to build a wind farm or a solar farm, the current technology demands that we have large amounts of land that needs to be developed. And a nuclear facility would require much, much less than that. And then, with these upsides though, there are a couple downsides too, which should not completely exclude the idea of this, as seen from nuclear power for the 21st century is nuclear power to fuel costs and global warming in 2010. The downs, yes, there's nuclear waste. However, newer technology has allowed us to reduce the overall impact of the excess as a problem, along with how when we have nuclear waste, we store that hundreds of miles from people and society, in comparison to when we burn other fossil fuels such as coal, is pumped into the atmosphere for people to breathe, which we could argue is not exactly better for the whole situation, as seen by current research that has been published. Along with how many argue that this technology is dangerous, as seen from the situation with Chernobyl. However, by Kachuria, coal and gas are more harmful than nuclear power, written in 2013, the paper of which highlighted that nuclear power has overall one of the least amounts of fatalities in energy sectors in comparison to all others, including fossil fuels. And then others may criticize too that it is non-renewable, because yes, there's only a limited amount of uranium in the ground, but at least try to consider that this is a temporary solution for us to be able to do more research and development into renewable technology, so then we are able to buy time and cut down on carbon pollution. So what I really want all of us to take away from this is the idea of there are two different worlds that we can live in. Either one where we have embraced this technology and then we have drastically reduced our carbon footprint, so then we can advance faster, or we can envision a future where we are very affected by these fluctuant prices in the global markets, along with having to deal with greater climate catastrophes than we would have to otherwise. And in conclusion, what we do today will have an effect on our children and their children's children for the long run of society, because that is why today I first discussed the issue of fossil fuels and the effects that they're having currently on public health, the environment, and fluctuating prices. Second, I described why nuclear energy is superior to alleviate the fossil fuels issue and why it's better than the other two options of solar and wind. And then finally, I have shown the two different types of futures that are in store for us, whether if this technology is taken or not. Nuclear power is currently the best viable options for public health, as we've seen less radiation for the overall areas of which these plants are located in, the reliability that they have, which is much better than solar and wind, along with climate change issues, because carbon neutral technology demands that. I understand that currently here at our goal at NV Energy is to be able to be carbon neutral, and there is some public stigma, but at least consider this as an idea. Maybe we can start small and then just keep going from there to be able to understand this technology does have capacity, rather than just to ignore it completely outright just because of current fears as it stands. And I hope that all of you will consider that as we continue to move forward with revolutionizing our technology and making it accessible to the entire Las Vegas Valley. Thank you for your time, and please consider this.